Welcome back. This is Weeknights. We are back. I am JD, aka He Who Pods.
And I am Dash.
No AKAs today.
Nah.
All right. We should probably explain what happened yesterday. No, we didn't put out an announcement or anything.
We had to take the day off yesterday, and that's about it.
All right, there you go. Presidential style. So why are we at war right now? Except fuck them hoes. Next question.
Yep. What's important is that we're here today.
Right, that's true. And there's a lot going on today, man. 2024 has become the year of beef.
Yep.
It is war out here in these musical streets. It's like nobody's safe.
Everybody has a problem.
Everybody got a problem. And you know, when some of it happened, we didn't even report on it. Like the Chris Brown and Quavo thing. When the first round happened, we didn't even think we needed to talk about it because it was like maybe a shot on Chris Brown's album. And then Quavo put out a diss record, and we were like, I don't think we need to talk about this.
I mean, I feel like it was very clearly a shot. He mentioned the Migos by name.
Yes, but people were confused, not necessarily me or you, but people were confused. Was it a legit shot? Was it not? But before we could get confirmation, Quavo put out this record.
Because
But we
Quavo
didn't
knew
we
it
didn't
was.
discuss it. I'm sorry?
Quavo knew it was. Quavo knew the vibes.
Quavo knew the vibes.
Quavo said, oh,
So
yeah. That's what you're saying about
he
me?
put out this record. Right. He said, you said the Migos, you said my name, let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Quavo put out this record, and we was like, I mean, whatever, man. Too much other stuff going on. We'll just let that one fly by. But now it's getting crazy. Now we got round 2 of the diss records that have happened since we last potted. Chris Brown put out a rap record. Flowing.
You thought so?
He was flowing. I mean, Chris Brown was going in. He had a great flow. He had great delivery. And people said, okay, I see your rap record. And I raise you one.
I mean, Chris Brown been rapping. But
Well, with this beef, I didn't expect Chris Brown to rap because he didn't really need to, in my opinion.
I absolutely expected him to rap.
You did?
Chris Brown likes to rap. That might not be his primary genre, but he likes to rap, and he does. If you listen to Chris Brown albums, Chris Brown always sneaks in a rap somewhere. He's very much, I don't think he considers himself a rapper. I think it's something he likes to do, and he's mildly good at.
I mean,
And I only say mildly because I feel like times where I've tried to have this conversation with people, they feel like you shouldn't be a part of a rap conversation. And people
I
always say,
understand.
oh, whatever, like he was rapping, oh, please, you know. So that's why I say mildly, because I feel like people don't respect him as someone who raps. I feel like if y'all respect Beyonce for rapping, then y'all gotta respect Chris Brown. I think he's been doing it longer than she has, to be honest.
I would assume so.
And I don't mean that. I'm not trying to like have them compete or anything like that, but I think that is a fact that his albums have seen more raps than hers. I mean, in recent years, of course, like we've seen her do a lot of stuff, and this is not about her, but I'm just saying that because I feel like people love to say, oh, she's like the best rapper around and things like that. And I don't think what she does is that different from what he does.
Got you.
So I think what happens sometimes with talented people is that when they experiment, they do things that we can respect and things that we can get into. So no, I don't think that every single time that one of them puts out a rap, it's like the best thing I've ever heard in rap or hip hop. But I think that they could hold their own, meaning Simply meaning if they needed to put a verse on one of their albums, they could, and it could be something that you're like, oh, I like this.
Right.
You don't. Your reaction is not, oh my gosh, why did they do that?
Right.
So I think that Chris Brown has been doing that for a long time. So for me, I wasn't surprised that he he got on the mic and rapped. I did wonder to myself, who wrote this?
Mm. You don't think he wrote it?
I don't know. I'm curious.
Okay.
I think he had a lot of smoke for Quavo when he did the rap. So it
Yep.
just leads me to wonder. I mean, Chris Brown is very well connected in the industry and has a lot of people who he can call on to write a rap for him. I don't know. If I'm being honest, I don't know if he writes any of the other raps I've heard him do.
Got it.
So it's a
Well,
honest question when I say that, because I don't
okay.
know,
Okay.
you know. But I'm here for
Well,
it.
there have been
If you could go
four.
toe to toe with a rapper, rap.
Yes. And this is why this battle is interesting for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Migos do different raps than some of the people who do rap battles. And
Yeah.
so I have never seen this type of rapper do a rap battle. So this is very interesting for me. I have no dog in this fight. I'm just like, man, okay, what's gonna happen now?
And he maintained his style, which I thought
Quavo or Chris Brown?
Quavo, which
Yeah,
I thought was super cool. I thought it was really cool that, to your point, this may not be the type of thing that he does. This may not be his style of rap. Is not, when you're talking about rap battles, that's not really the arena that his style is sitting in. But
right.
he did it. He did what Quavo does. He did what the Migos do,
Yep.
but in a battle.
Yep.
And I
That
thought,
was interesting to me.
me too. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know what I was expecting, but when I heard it, it stood out to me. And I said, oh, he maintained his typical flow.
Yep.
And how interesting it is to do a diss track from
With
that.
mostly with mostly ad libs.
Well, sure.
I mean, the first one was. The second one, okay, I will give credit where credit is due. The second record, the one that dropped, I guess today or yesterday or whatever, uh, he did less ad libs on that one. That one he was more in his pocket of rapping, and it was more the raps. The first record, and maybe because it was, I know this beef is not over, maybe that's why. But the first record, it was mostly ad libs. So to me, I was like, oh, okay, second record, now you did it. But he also called in some help.
Well, I feel like the first record, he was like playing around, right? He was like, oh, that nigga said something about me. All right, let me say something back. But it wasn't. I know a lot of these days we hear a lot of that was a warning shot. I don't even know that it was a warning shot. I just feel like he was just like, oh, nigga, I have time. And
All right, I'm gonna say something funny.
right. I think the second time he was like,
Right, the
oh,
record
we
that just
beefing?
dropped.
Yeah. I feel like at that point he was like, oh, we beefing? You rapping? We beefing?
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Let me do what I do now.
let me get on the I rap. No, I rap, nigga.
Right.
You don't rap, singing
So
ass
he rapped
nigga.
against me. He rapped
Right,
against me.
right.
Don't you know my raps? He
You
hits.
with your singing ass.
Right.
I'm a I'm gonna put it down now. So I feel like that's what happened here. It was like it's almost like they stumbled upon this beef. Like if nobody would have made any big thing about it, I feel like, or if he wouldn't have responded to the initial song, we wouldn't be here right now.
Well, as far as records, this is new. But as far as them
Yeah.
beefing, this is not new.
No. As far as records go, I feel like if Chris
Okay.
Brown didn't, say the word, the name Migos in his song, we
But he
probably
said
wouldn't
Quavo.
be yeah, probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But again, I feel like Quavo was like, oh, because the internet there was a lot of chatter when the deluxe came out for Chris Brown.
Yep.
That helps. It adds fuel to the fire.
Hey, you know,
But Quavo was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna play with you a little bit,
I got time.
But he didn't know. He didn't know that Breezy was gonna come out with
Right.
with a more than a couple bars.
Right.
So
And
you know.
I think this is getting interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the lyrical content, uh, this is clearly a personal one.
Oh, absolutely. When most of the words in your song is pussy, it's personal.
Yeah, this one is personal, and I think this one could really lead to physical violence, and I hope it does not.
I can see that.
But I hope it does not, because I don't ever want that happening in rap beefs. Let's keep it to the lyrics and the songs. Um, but let's weigh in. We've had 2 rounds of rap records, kind of.
Who did the pussy record? Quavo, right? I didn't like that.
Well, the first record, I don't know if it counts, because Chris Brown just mentioned his name in the Migos. So I don't know whose turn it is to respond. I guess Chris Brown, right?
Well, yeah, because
Like, how are we breaking this down? Is
the
it
first one
Chris
was
Brown's
Freak.
mention? Is that the first record we counting?
Yes.
Or are we counting Quavo's record
Chris
first?
Brown Freak is the first mention of between the two of them, it's the first mention.
Mhm.
He mentions the Migos by name.
Yes.
So I think that counts. I don't think the
Okay.
whole record is about Quavo, but a piece of it is, which is what sparked this whole thing.
Right. I'm gonna be honest. I don't count either one of those first records.
Okay.
I feel like they were both, fluff. One the real nooks and crannies.
Well, they're how we got here.
I know. And so I don't even know how to rank that one. That round. If that's a round, I'll call it even. I don't think either
Yeah,
one was super fire. I
I
don't
don't
think
have
either one did anything crazy. I will give props to Quavo because he responded to the mention with an entire record. So if somebody says they give round one to Quavo, I'm not mad at that, but I really don't even count those first 2 records.
I also, I don't really need to give my opinion. I do think it's kind of corny that Quavo responded, if I'm being honest.
Why?
You really tried to start a rap beef with a singing ass nigga?
I mean, we got real beef though. I think that has to be
So
taken into
what?
account here. If I have real life beef with somebody and they mention me on a record, I could totally see why I would respond.
I guess my question is more like, is it the momentum of the rap beefs that are happening around everyone that made this important? Because is this the first time someone has mentioned the Migos in a way that is not complimentary? And I know you're saying that there's something personal going on between Quavo and Chris Brown, but honestly, normally niggas, especially niggas who are not rap niggas, just go online and say whatever they gotta say. It's not usually a rap beef.
That's
So
true.
to me, it was just weird that Quavo responded. I feel like he was egged on by the people on the internet. I'm not saying he's wrong for doing so. Chris Brown said what he said. So if
Right.
Quavo felt he needed to respond, then that's his business. But what I'm saying is I just kind of feel like you're really trying to go toe to toe with this dude for what?
Because we don't like each other. And he
So
said my name.
I
Who
just
you think?
don't.
Go
Hmm?
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I just don't. It feels very much like the momentum of the other beefs that are happening is really the reason for this. It feels
Okay,
to
I don't
me,
agree, but I understand why you say that.
it feels to me like, oh, them other dudes are beefing and they putting it in the songs and it's getting a lot of buzz and whatever. Why not respond to Chris Brown? I know they don't like each other, but why now?
I think it was a situation where we have real life beef. We have been exchanging online for a while, and you, Chris Brown, were bold enough to say my name and my group's name. So now I'm gonna say something on record in response.
Which is fine.
I think it's about ego. If we're being, I think it's an ego thing.
Of
I
course.
think it's a entertainment biz thing, and I think that's what it is. I think it's like, all right, listen, you were bold enough to do this. Well, then I'm gonna respond because I already don't like you.
Right.
So because I already don't like you, I got shit to say too.
I just don't know if I got to be curious. We can't go back in time. What's happened has happened. But I'm so curious. If there was no Drake and Rick Ross, if there was no Drake and Kendrick and
Everybody,
Cole and Drake and everybody else, would Quavo have even bothered?
I don't know.
I just the same way we talked last week about how people are kind of getting in on the action wherever they can. This feels like that. And I don't know. I just it's fine. I'm not particularly mad at it or anything like that. I indulged in it. I listened. But I just wonder if that's the real reason for this. It's like, oh, look, they're talking about them and all they had to do was fire some shots at each other on a song. I could do that. That's easy. That's
Gotcha.
some um quick buzz. That's some quick, you know? I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's awfully coincidental. It's kind of like when we talk about Rick Ross, like we said it too. Like, okay, this is cool that Rick Ross released a song and all of that, but where the hell did he come from? He wasn't really a part of this conversation, and he put himself in it the same way.
No, no, Drake mentioned him.
Okay, fine, but I'm just
Oh,
saying.
well, you talking about the video with playing the song,
I'm
right?
talking about all the big three stuff. That wasn't about Rick Ross.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rick
He
Ross
put
didn't
himself.
have
Yeah, you
nothing to
mean with
do
the?
with
But I'm
that.
saying when you say he inserted himself, you mean that video of him playing the
Yeah, Rick
song?
Ross had a personal beef with somebody who appeared to be his friend at some point, and he took an opportunity because of what was going on between that person and the others. He took an opportunity to jump in, and I feel like this is what's happening with everybody. Everybody's like, "Oh, y'all doing that? All right, well, look what I got."
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
This feels
I
very
think with
much
Rick
like
Ross,
that.
I agree that with Rick Ross, he was like, I'm inserting myself. With Quavo and Chris Brown, I don't know. But before we move on, let me ask who you think is winning this rap beef so far, Chris Brown or Quavo?
I didn't mean to make that
Yo, the
face.
look on your face said
No,
it
no, no, no,
all.
no, no, no. It wasn't about that. I got an alert that
Mhm.
said Uber was charging me 56 cents, and I was very confused. That's what it
Okay,
was.
because that was definitely the confused face.
Yeah, I was like, 56 cents. I mean, I
I said,
guess I
who
should
you
be
got
glad it's
winning,
not
Chris
more than
Brown or
that.
Quavo? That said,
Yeah, I was just confused about the Uber thing. But who do I have in the battle? I
so
gotta,
far, so far.
I gotta be honest. I really liked Chris Brown's verse. I also because the pussy song. I know I keep calling it the pussy song. The pussy song was Quavo, right? I didn't like that.
You
I
talking about his first response?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Let me find it.
And I thought the new song was fine. He like you said, he had help. It wasn't just him on the track. Um,
He put Takeoff's real shit up there.
right. And
I thought that was interesting that he used Takeoff on the song.
not only that, that beat is a beat we know. I think that's a Nelly beat. I think that's the Air
I'm looking
Force
up.
One.
I'm looking up the name of the Chris Brown record.
Okay.
Well, the new one
Weakest
that just
Link.
dropped is huh?
Weakest Link is the new one.
No, Weakest Link is Chris Brown's diss record.
Oh, you just said Chris Brown.
I'm saying I'm looking up Quavo's diss records.
Okay. Tender is one of them.
Okay, well the other one that just dropped today is called Over Hoes and Bitches.
Overhoes and Bitches. So Tender is, I believe Tender is the one that sounds like, that's the Nelly beat. It sounds like, give me two purrs. I need two purrs so I could get to something in my Air Force Ones.
Talk about it.
Big boy.
I can't. Oh, Tender. Yep, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Tender was the first one.
Yeah.
Look at you knowing the names.
I mean,
Go Dash.
we got a pod to do.
You right. You right, girl. You right.
I would otherwise have no knowledge of what these songs were called.
Yeah, because this is crazy.
Because I
But
looked at it many times
so who you
and
got? Come on, man. I'll be honest. I think Chris Brown surprised me with the rap, and I got Chris Brown so far. But I have to also say, I did not expect Quavo to say all those names of women on this latest record. Oh, and Saweetie's mad.
oh yeah, she's posting screenshots and things.
She's posting screenshots of Quavo in her DMs as of recently as January or something like that.
Right, because what was the line? He said something like, I
But
can
they both
find me
said stuff
another
about Saweetie.
sweetie or something like that. He said
Yeah, they
he could buy
both
him
have
another
mentioned her.
sweetie.
They both mentioned her. So she's like, all right, hold on. I got the proof right here.
Right, because Chris Brown is alleging, we haven't even spoken about the content. Chris Brown is alleging that he slept with Saweetie while she was still with Quavo.
Correct. I was trying to skip over some of that, but yes.
Right, but that's the root of this beef. So I don't think you can skip over it.
And then Quavo has now said a lot of things about assault and violence against women in this latest record.
Yes, he has. And
I'm trying to even be careful of how I word it because I don't want any beef with the YouTubes and Spotify's and all that, you know?
and I know they're gonna get me for this, but I gotta be honest, I didn't care for that. Low hanging fruit. And I don't think that,
That's part of a rap battle.
wait, I was just about to say, I don't think that it means that you don't hit below the belt and you don't say certain things. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is you made it a hook and it was corny to me. Like, say it once and be done with it and that's it. But to make it the hook, I just feel like it didn't move me any more than you know than maybe he thought it would.
Okay.
I like the
I
Chris
think with the
Brown
new
verse
record,
better. I like, not Freak, but what was Chris Weakest Link? I like Weakest Link better than, if we're just talking about the last two songs, I like Weakest Link better than the new song.
Over Hoes and
Quavo.
Bitches.
Over Hoes and Bitches. I do.
Uh,
And
I'm of the same belief.
and maybe I'm biased, and I could understand why anybody who consistently watches this podcast or has watched the previous one thinks I'm biased, and maybe I am. But
Oh, I don't have a dog in this one.
I listened to, well, not recently, not of late, but I'm very familiar with Chris Brown's music. That's why I'm very familiar with Chris Brown rapping. Um, and so I think there's just always like an affection towards Chris Brown there. If I'm being honest, I don't want to lie and say that,
Right.
I don't hear him and go, man, he's feeling it right now. I think I do that just innately because I'm so familiar with his music. But yeah, it didn't. And even the Pussy record, gosh, Tender is what it was called. Even Tender, I was like, how many times you gonna say Pussy? That was whack to me. It wasn't.
Gotcha.
It wasn't bad. My favorite part of the Quavo of it all is that he maintained his flow in a rap battle, and I think that is fucking amazing because
Yeah.
it's. Where do you hear that?
Right. No, he did his thing. He definitely did his thing. I don't have
Yeah.
any beef with what he did. I
Yeah.
do think it's interesting that he used Offset.
Mhm.
I'll just leave that there. Uh, let's move on to more beef.
More beef. Okay.
So over the weekend, Kanye West was with Justin LeBoy, who I just want to say I never saw Justin LeBoy before. I was like, is that Ice Cube's son? Why is Kanye with Ice Cube's son?
He doesn't look like a Justin LeBoy.
I don't know what a Justin LeBoy should look like, but I just never saw him before. I always see the post on the white screen.
Now I kind of know what a Justin LeBoy should look
So
like, and it's not him.
it just caught me off guard. I got to be honest. He looked like O'Shea and them. You know what I'm saying?
But not Justin LeBoy. He doesn't look like Justin LeBoy.
It just caught me off guard. So anyway, he's with Justin LeBoy and they're chit chatting, and part of
You
it
know who looks
is
like Justin LeBoy?
oh
You know that dude from Fresh and Fit?
no, we're not gonna do this. No. Mm-mm. Next. So
That's a
part of them
Justin
sitting
LeBoy.
together and talking
Y'all know which
was
one.
Kanye
The one that be yelling.
revealing part of this was Kanye letting the world hear the Like That remix, which he is on. And in that record,
He too be trying to
yo,
find a way in the middle of something that don't got shit to do with him.
I once again, well, I'll get to it in a minute. Let me say what happened first. Context. So he plays his verse where he takes shots at Drake.
Yeah.
He talks a little bit of shit, mostly. He really is not dissing Drake the whole time. It's mostly him talking shit. He does mention Drake. He mentions J. Cole. Switches his flow a couple times. Mostly it's Justin LeBoy overreacting to the verse. He's making it.
Who is really the guy from Fresh and Fit? I can see it. You can't see it. You know which one I'm talking about, the one that be yelling. He looked like a
So
Justin
Justin LeBoy
LeBoy.
was overhyping the record, and that's cool because Kanye's his boy or whatever. They have some
Justin
kind of
LeBoy looks like a
working
Christopher.
relationship.
He don't look like a Christopher to you?
I'm just trying to get through this beef. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't want to talk about who. I don't know. I just knew he looked like O'Shea in them. Like I said, that's all I got. I thought he was related to Ice Cube, and maybe he is. I don't know, but
Maybe
caught me
his
off
middle
guard.
name is Christopher.
All right. Um. So he played the record. He played the verse. He asks him how. Justin LeBoy asked Ye, "How did it happen?" And the clip that's gone viral is Kanye saying he got a phone call from Pluto, aka Future, and
Why they call him Pluto?
I don't know. I thought Pluto was somebody else. I'm not as tapped in as I thought, apparently. But he says Pluto called me up, and everybody was over there in London working on the record. And I think by the record he meant the album, the We Don't Trust You album.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that everyone, this is the clip that went viral. He says everyone was excited about the elimination of Drake. And Justin LeBoy has a big reaction. He says, no, not excited, energized about the elimination of Drake. Later on in that process, in that it's an interview, I guess. There's another clip that has been circulating where he speaks about Drake and Lucian's relationship, where Drake feels like he has a rich baby daddy because Lucian is a super rich person who will get any record to be a number one record if you are his son.
And Lucian
Uh,
is the record executive.
correct. There's another clip that's circulating where Justin the Boy asks him about Drake and about J. Cole and the whole Big Three thing. And Kanye basically says, he asks him, in between this beef, we've had J. Cole release a record and then apologize for it. Kanye cuts him off and says, basically, I don't want to hear about J. Cole. You can't mention J. Cole anymore. He's done. And so that's what's going on there. You want to start?
I first want to say that I heard somebody say in the last couple of days that, and I think I said this last week too, something similar. Where J. Cole is just somewhere sitting quietly, grateful. Grateful that he got out of this nonsense.
Maybe.
Because you got a nose job, you got a BBL, like some of it is a bit out there. But as far as Kanye goes, and I agree with Kanye that J. Cole should not be a part of the conversation anymore. I'm not
Okay.
saying, and I'm not talking about the big three conversation, because I know that's also a separate thing. I just don't think that J. Cole decided that he didn't want to be a part of the beef, and so he's not.
I don't think Kanye should be able to mention J. Cole. Kanye doesn't write his fucking records.
That's fine. And I'm not, again,
Like, that shit annoyed me. I gotta be honest.
I my only stance here is that, because I said this before Kanye did. I said right here, I was sitting right here when I said, I don't want to hear anything from or about J. Cole because he took himself out of the running.
Yeah,
And
but now
I never meant,
go ahead.
but I never meant he shouldn't be considered a part of the big three. I meant in this rap beef that is happening right now, the one that got sparked when First Person Shooter came out, he took himself out of this. And
Yes.
so I don't want to hear no diss track from him, because I even said, I don't want to hear a diss track from him. If he comes out with his album that he's supposed to come out with, I'll listen to it, but I don't want to hear nothing about Kendrick. I don't want to hear nothing about Drake. Be done. If you're done with it,
Broken glass everywhere. If it ain't about the money, Puff, I just don't care.
if you're done with it, then be done with it. I don't want to go on a roller coaster ride with J. Cole or anybody else for that matter.
The reason I'm saying that is because Kanye in the verse says, he sings that if you play J. Cole, all the hoes go to sleep.
Okay,
Or
I don't
something
agree
like
with
that.
that.
And then it's something that the internet has said. That's not an original thing. He
But
took that from the internet. The internet has said that for years about J. Cole. That's number one. Number two is Kanye, when Justin LeBoy asked him about Cole, he went on a cursing spree, basically saying that Cole is no longer worthy of any conversation in music.
no, but
And that I take issue with.
I take
Because
issue with
Kanye
that.
don't even write his own raps. We
Right.
have seen the footage of you having other people write your raps, which J. Cole dissed you on a long time ago. J. Cole put a record out in like 2014 or 2015, something like that. Maybe 2016, whatever. Saying Kanye, talking about Kanye and his fall from grace. How he used to worship Kanye. He found out Kanye don't write his raps. He got other people doing his production, all of this stuff. We never heard shit from Kanye. Bless you. We never heard shit from Kanye at that time. So for Kanye to now be saying something is really corny to me. And I'll be honest, if I was J. Cole and saw that, I would say some things to Kanye.
And that's fine. The only thing I'm agreeing with is that I don't think I think J. Cole is out of the beef.
Sure.
If J.
Yes.
Cole
The
wants to
main one,
come back
yes.
and make music and be a part of the rap conversation, the hip hop conversation, he can absolutely do that. I don't want to hear about J. Cole and a big three beef. I don't care at this point, because J. Cole has made it very clear to us that he is uninterested in that. So I'm
Fine.
tired of I'm tired of artists lying. Is my stance, and that don't got nothing
Sure.
to do with anything Kanye said. I
But
think,
Kanye's also lying. That's why I'm saying that.
and that's fine. I'm tired of Kanye lying too. I'm
Okay.
tired of all of them. I made it very clear the other day. Like, I'm tired of the Childish Gambino. Don't tell me that you're putting out an album and it's your last
I don't
album,
even know,
and then it's not your last album.
I don't even know how Childish Gambino got thrown
Because
in.
I'm just saying, I just said I'm tired of artists lying
Got it.
and saying things that are unfounded or just simply not true. Saying something to us today to get a rise out of us as their audience, and then a year from now telling us something completely different doesn't mean that you can't change your mind, but it also, like, don't use it as a marketing tool either.
Okay. I
That's all
think
I'm.
that's exactly what I think that's exactly what Kanye's doing.
Kanye uses everything as a marketing tool. So I'm
And
not,
that's my point.
and that's why I only spoke to one thing that you said because you said it. Otherwise, I don't. I think it's very clear how I look at Kanye and how I feel about Kanye these days. I don't really have a whole lot to say about him. I don't know, where did Kanye come from in terms of this conversation. He too is
He's
one
saying
who
he
is
was
acting
summoned
like a
by
hanger
Future.
on, who
Yeah.
was like, oh, they got this going on. Oh, everybody's talking about them. Well, over here, we know how Kanye is. He doesn't like that. Kanye's like, well, look at me, look at me. I can make a remix
Right.
too.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing I have to disagree with is the he saw everybody. It seems like he was there from the beginning of this, based on what he said. If it's true, he's saying that Future called him up, had him go over there, and everybody was there working on stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it could be that this was in the back pocket for a while.
Probably.
And knowing Kanye, he probably wasn't even supposed to play this shit yet. It probably is too soon for this to even be coming out, but it's out. And so I'm curious to see, one, what Future and Metro are going to say about it. Two, uh, what's going to happen next. We know Drake used AI to respond. Well, not to respond, but to diss Kendrick again.
Yeah.
Which I don't even really think is worth a conversation. But I'm saying that to say, I'm wondering, is Drake going to now say something back to Ross, say something back to Kanye? I know the main person is Kendrick, and he's kind of just giving little shots at the other people, but the other people have said more things.
I don't
Well,
think Drake wants to
Kanye
fight with
said something
Ross.
else. I'm sorry?
I don't think Drake wants to fight with Ross.
Nah, they're busy doing funny stuff on Instagram and
Yeah.
shit,
I
which
think they're
is
friends who are fucking with each other. And I think that with Kendrick, he's goading him because he wants him to respond. He's goading
yeah.
him because he knows that if he responds, he's got something for him. I don't know what that something is, but
Wait, you think who's doing that?
I think Drake is
Drake?
doing that. I think
Got it.
that's why Drake put out the AI song, because I think Drake was like, "Oh, you're not gonna say nothing? All right, I'm gonna keep poking you until you say something." It's, with the Rick Ross stuff is fun for him because they're basically making jokes. Now they're not. They're pretty strong jokes, but I feel like they're just two people who know each other really well and are fucking with each other. And I feel
Yeah,
like
I
at the
agree.
end of the day, they probably gonna piece it up. They gonna see each other somewhere and be like, "Nah, you my nigga."
I don't know about that part, but I agree with the rest of what you said.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
I
I
think
feel like
this.
dudes
I
have
think
weird
there's a
relationships.
larger. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like dudes have weird relationships where they'll jab and they'll jab and they'll jab and they'll see each other and it'll be, they'll be cool. There won't be any beef. They're not gonna try to fight each other or anything like that. And I don't know that to be true. Like, I just feel like this is what this feels like. It feels like they're clowning each other. Like, it's not serious. It's jokes.
With Ross and Drake.
Yes. Whereas with like Drake and Kendrick and Drake and the rest of them, it's not jokes. It feels very much like he wants smoke with them. I feel like with Rick Ross, that's not necessarily what's happening here. And maybe I'm completely wrong and completely off base, but to me, I feel like that's why it's become more of like an internet war where they're, oh, my mom said this, or, oh, you're BBL, and this, it's silly. It's
Yeah.
not, you know,
I think with Drake and Ross, they used to be friends and they know a lot about each other, and they're trying to kind of tiptoe.
yeah.
Um, I think that's whack. If it's beef, let's just have beef. And if it's not beef, then stay off the internet because the Instagram stuff I don't really care for. Let's stick to rap records.
Mhm.
My real thing is this elimination of Drake conversation. Sure, we've all had the jokes of like they're jumping him. And even Drake said, "What's this, a 20v1 nigga?" Um, but for you to say y'all are very excited and then try to cover it up and say, no, energized, energized about the elimination of Drake. It seems like it's some straight up hater shit. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like there's a beef anymore. It don't sound that doesn't sound like we're mad he slept with our girl. That sounds like,
Sounds like it was the
hey,
setup from all along.
it sounds like we are tired of this guy and we're gonna try our best to take him out. And
Yeah.
I think that's really weird. I got to be honest. I think
Yeah.
that's really weird.
It's like it was all a part of a plan. Like when they were all in the studio at whatever point, they were
Well,
like,
that's what he said. Yeah,
we should do this. And
that's what he said. We were
this is
all
how
very
we're gonna
excited
roll it
about
out,
the.
and eventually he'll respond or whatever, and we're just gonna continue to annihilate him. And I don't think that I think that you could take shots at Drake, but I think that Drake's Drake's status as an artist is already cemented. I don't think that Drake will be a rapper forever. I don't think that he'll be a hip hop artist that is the top hip hop artist forever. I think eventually, just like everyone else, he will have cycled through, but that's not right now. And I think that you could try to take him down a peg, but personally, I don't think Drake cares that much because I think Drake also knows that his place in the grand scheme of things has was cemented a long time ago. And he would have to do something really wild and crazy for his fall from grace to be that instantaneous, for it to be that quick, which
I
uh,
think it's two different things. I think his place in hip hop. Drake is one of the number one artists in the world. That's not changing no matter what happens with any of these battles. I agree with that. But I think as far as the MC side, the cultural side of forget about the number ones and the pop records and all of that. The who got the better pen game, who's more witty, who can beat who in the ring. Drake does care about that part because he's responded, whether we think he won or not. Drake has responded to pretty much everyone who has said his name over the years. Whether we think he won each round or each battle is a different conversation, but Drake has responded to pretty much everyone over the years. If he didn't care about that, he would never respond to most of those people. We've seen him go back and forth with Meek Mill, Common, Joe Budden, Pusha T, and now this whole crew. Um, so I do agree. No, Drake is not going to lose his quote unquote number one status. But I think as far as the MC side, the unfuckwittable side, as people like to say, uh, I think that this is important to him. I think they know that. And I think a lot of them, Kanye included, know I can't beat him. But if I can make him bleed, it shows that he's human. And I think that's kind of where they're at. I think that crew is where they're at with it. Ross, I think, is another conversation. I think Ross can very much go back and forth with Drake lyrically. If we talking about rap battle, I think Drake can go back and forth with Ross. Ross can go. I think them two can actually have bar for bar battle. But we know the big one everybody wants to see is him and Kendrick. I gotta be honest. I kind of wish the rest of these people would shut the hell up.
that's how I feel. I feel like
So
it's
we could
gotten
just so we
cluttered.
could just see yeah, so we could just see Kendrick and Drake go back and forth.
And
I
I
don't really want to see everybody else.
And I think there was a moment in time where I cared whether Kanye was a part of this conversation or not. And today I just simply don't. It's not
Yeah.
a question of his abilities. It's not whether he could hold his own or not. None of that is crossing my mind because I don't think we need to question those things. But I just don't care. Like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here? Who sent for you?
But that's how a lot of people felt when ASAP Rocky and The Weeknd entered the battle,
Agreed.
entered the conversation.
I feel the same way about that too. It's kind of like, all right. I think a lot of people have gotten involved in this that this doesn't concern you, and that's
Right.
fine. Like that's not a knock. That's just the honest truth. Like this doesn't this isn't about you.
I think it is. I think it's about the people who have an issue with Drake coming together. I think Kendrick is a little different
Mm-hmm.
in the reasoning why he has an issue with Drake.
Okay.
They've been throwing little things at each other for 10 years or however long. It's a little different with them. But I think the rest of these people, they're all like, yo, I got an issue with Drake. And so they've just grouped together. But my thing is like, I kind of wish they would go sit down
Mm-hmm.
and be quiet so we could just hear the two people who really are worth listening to battle.
Agree.
We got one more quick topic before we go.
Oh, we do. Okay.
You don't want to talk about it?
No, let's go.
All right. So Shyne has chimed in on some of the Diddy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Shyne says, we spoke about the producer who's suing Diddy a while ago, who didn't get the credits on the Love album and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a couple of things that have come from that. And part of that is the young lady who was shot in the face. At least that's what was said. If that's wrong, I apologize. That's the information that came out.
Mm-hmm.
That she came forward and said she was not shot by Shyne.
Mm-hmm.
And so Shyne was asked about it recently, and he went in. He went in and said, I have always maintained my innocence.
Yeah.
No forensic evidence was done. I did not shoot that woman. I was the fall guy. Everybody knows I was the fall guy.
Yeah.
And he snitched. He basically, I believe that's snitching. I believe he went on camera and said it was Diddy. He go ahead.
No, go ahead.
He said it wasn't me. It was never me. There's always guns around, and there will always be guns around when that person is around. And so he did everything except say the words, Diddy shot her, not me. But he did everything around that.
You think
Uh,
you think that's a bad thing?
what do I think? What is a bad?
Because you refer to it as snitching. So I'm asking, snitching has a negative connotation. So I'm saying the way he approached this, the what he said, do you think it's bad? What he said, do you think he shouldn't have done it?
I don't think he should have done it. We just saw you a year or so ago on stage with Diddy at the BT Hip Hop Honors or whatever it was when Diddy won the Lifetime Achievement Award,
Uh-huh.
and y'all were hugged up and singing together. Uh, so what's this? I'm confused. Also, who cares? You served your time. Uh, all right, I see both sides about who cares. I
Because
won't
you
say
said
who
who
cares.
cares, and I was like, well, I think a lot of people would
Well, my
care
thing
because
is,
this this speaks to character, this speaks to
yeah, but
credibility, and I think there are a lot of things at play right now when it comes to Diddy, where there are a lot of questions about the things that he does and the way that he moves. And I think that anything that someone says that is damning in some way has an effect on how we view him and it also calls to question some of the things he's categorically denied everything that he has been accused of. So when you hear from insiders, people who were actually there, people who actually experienced whatever was going on whenever they were around, it is really hard to, for me at least, it's really hard to just say, well, who cares, or this thing is insignificant, or this thing doesn't matter, because of the fact that we have this whole roster of things that he is alleged to have done. And every time somebody corroborates one of these stories, it chips away at his credibility. And the reality is, if he has been abusive towards people, if he has done things that are heinous and that should warrant jail time, I don't know how we count out something that Shyne says. I also think I understand the side of it where it's like, oh, if you serve the time, then you shouldn't snitch. I hear that, but also we don't know what else Shyne saw or what else Shyne was privy to or who else Shyne was close to that Diddy may have done something to. And I can totally see someone who was on the inside and maybe felt a certain way or a certain affection towards people that were affected being like, well, I did the time. He can't technically go to jail for this thing that I already served time for. But if I'm being honest, there are the questions that y'all have are valid questions. To me, that's what Shyne was doing. I think Shyne was kind of giving a little, y'all are not exactly wrong in asking these questions or trying to figure out what the truth is when it comes to some of this stuff about him. I'm not here to say whether that's right or wrong, but I do understand it.
Yeah. I was so I shouldn't have said who cares. But what's difficult for me,
Mhm.
I see the perspective of what you're saying. Let me start there. I do see that perspective. But I also see another perspective where Shine, you were just with him, hugged up and singing. Shine, you are now a politician and a leader. And there's been many years
Mhm.
from 1999 when this happened until now.
Mhm.
Why now?
You think Shine feels safe now?
I don't know what he feels now. I'm curious as to why now. It makes it look like, hey, the Drake situation again. It makes it look like, hey, everybody's jumping that guy. Hey, let me get my shit off too. Hold on. Because I've been holding this one back since 99. So let me get my shit off too.
The reason I ask about safety is because I think something that we've been hearing, a common theme, is that um, there's a lot of alleged retaliation
Okay.
for people who speak out, for people who have tried to, you know, say things publicly about Diddy, or people who have said things privately about him or done things privately to him or whatever it is. We've heard a lot about things being done in retaliation, whether they're true or not,
Yep.
I don't know. But
I want to say all
allegedly,
allegations, right?
there are allegations of him retaliating or using other people to retaliate against others. So, is there a world where, because Shine is a politician now, because Shine has certain connections now, is it possible that this now he feels safe to speak about those things because he doesn't think that um, he thinks that the risk is lesser than it was when he was in prison or when he was trying to rebuild his life? You know, maybe he's in a position where he doesn't feel like he has to look over his shoulder. I don't know. I'm just asking. These are things that have crossed my mind in thinking about this. So it's not to say that I know that for sure, but it's just a question. Like, I could see that being a possibility.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's possible, sure, but the optics look bad. It looks bad when so many years later, you're saying this. You're basically snitching on him publicly now.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks a lot like, hey, this guy's under fire. I'm gonna get my licks in too.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like, you ever seen footage of like people getting jumped, and then like somebody's on the floor getting jumped, that one person comes out of nowhere and just starts kicking them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
That's that's what this is starting to seem like, with Kanye jumping in with Drake,
Yeah.
with Shyne doing this. It looks like, hey, the person I'm not a fan of is getting jumped. Their ship might be sinking in their mind, not mine. I'm saying the mentality.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get my licks off.
No, I
I
understand.
think it's weird. I'm not. I don't think he should have done it. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, he felt he needed to. I just think it looks really, really weird. We just saw you hugged up and singing with him,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a big moment for hip hop.
Okay. Excuse me. Resentment is real.
Sure.
He lost a lot of years of his life. So I'm not saying I
Yeah, but
agree.
let's look at the
I,
flip side. Would Shyne be the person he is today without that?
but at what cost? I mean, I'm not.
I'm just
Here's
asking.
the thing. I'm not saying that I agree with Shine or not. All I'm saying is I could see these things being possibilities, but I also don't think. I don't know that I agree with. Oh, like you know, your life would be. Look at where your life is now after all of this. Look at where your life is now after going to prison for me. Is that Is that the bar? Like, is
If
you know
Shyne,
what I
let
mean?
me be clear. Yes, but I'm saying this
Because
too. I'm
that's
saying this. Let me be clear. I'm not saying Shyne should have went to prison if he didn't do this. If someone did not commit a crime, they should not be in prison. Period. But my point is, you are this politician and this figure today largely because of this experience. So, as fucked up as this experience is, it's also part of why you are where you are today.
but maybe he could have been somewhere else if that hadn't happened to him. Like
All right, I'll
maybe
leave it there. I don't want to argue the what ifs, because you're right. There is another what if, but then we just go down the what if rabbit hole. No pun intended.
okay.
I just think it's weird. That's where I leave it. I don't think he should have did it. I think it looks bad. We just saw you hugged up with him. It was a big moment for hip hop, a big moment for Diddy, a big moment for BT, all of those things.
Hmm.
And now you're publicly saying, you're saying everything except the words Diddy shot her.
Okay.
I don't think he should have did that. That's it for me. So you think he should or should not have done it?
I don't know. That's what I was saying before. I don't have an opinion on whether he should or should not have. I don't know what the history is there outside of knowing that he's saying that he didn't do this thing, and there have been other people who have come out and said that he didn't do it, that Diddy was the one who did it. That's been out there for a while, but as far as whether he should have spoken that truth, I don't know. Like I don't know what the like I said, there are other things attached to Diddy at this point that are egregious, or allegations that are egregious, things that people have said that he's done, things that people have filed lawsuits against him for having done. So I don't know that when Shine comes out and says what he says, I don't know that it's selfish. I don't know that it's self serving. It could very well be that it's not self serving so much as it is, these things are coming to light. And if what I say makes a difference or has some sort of impact, then I'm going to say it. I don't know. He didn't take a stand. He didn't take a stance and say, well, this is why I'm saying this. He just said it. So I don't know. I don't live by a street code, personally. Do I think loyalty is important? Sure. But I also think that where does loyalty start and end? Because if I went to prison for you, I was loyal to you. You know what I mean? And
So it's over when you come out.
that's not what I was gonna say. Um, what I was gonna say is I don't know what he's done. I don't know what Diddy's done on his side. Like I don't know what. That's why I said I don't know what the history is. Has he helped him set up his life? Is he like I don't know any of that. I don't know any of
Gotcha.
that. But I think it would be wrong of me to make the assumption that like okay, you agreed to do this thing and now you take it to your grave, but has this person continued to do right by you? Because a lot of the things that people say about Diddy is that he's actually kind of shitty. Even Little Kim has talked about how she felt like she couldn't call upon him, or like he kind of left her by the wayside when she had her issues. So I don't know. I don't know what um I don't know what he was doing or what impact he made on Shine's life um after Shine went to prison. And there might be a whole lot. He seems like the type of person who probably throws money at a lot of problems. So maybe he did help Shine get set up. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have those facts and I don't want to make assumptions off of things that I don't know. So I'm indifferent about it.
Got you. All right. Then that's it. This has been Weeknights, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.